So Zach, first of all, weakest link. Let's go with the bad news. The weakest link. What do you think?
The weakest link, I think, by some margin is ID. Well, for me, it's all about holding the 2050 area.
If that's the case, what could be your next potential targets on Ethereum? All right, guys, hello and welcome. We're joined here by my good friend and analyst, Zak Mir. In this particular video, I want to ask Zach about his view about Ethereum and also some other crypto charts, which you can see here on this particular chart. I'm going to ask Zach what he thinks about the structure and indeed which particular charts of these cryptos he favors the most. So a little bit of a game we're going to play, kind of a blindfold test with Zach, and what he thinks about Ethereum overall. Is he bullish or bearish on the crypto charts? All right, guys, join us. All right, guys, welcome back. Zach, thanks very much indeed. Really appreciate it. Before we go on to the crypto charts, just remind us that about your experience in the past. So very briefly, you've been a trader and also you worked in several brokerage firms. Sorry, it sounds a bit rude, but in the 80s, obviously.
Well, no, actually, to save any
We're
embarrassment,
practically the same age anyway.
I actually, I suppose I had work experience in the 80s, so that's the late 80s, just after the crash. But
Okay.
then I started working for derivatives brokers in the 90s. So
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
am actually very old. But that was Wolf of Wall Street time, so you can imagine what that
Yeah,
was.
thanks, Zach. By the way, guys, make sure you go ahead and check out and follow Zach on Twitter. The Twitter handle is at Zach's Traders Cafe. As you can see right there, I'll put the link for you guys in the description. Go and follow him. He puts a lot of great material there. Also, Zach puts out a weekly video for our members. So go ahead and watch his weekly members video, which covers the charts of major crypto charts like Bitcoin and Ethereum in our members video. So go ahead and check that out. Guys, we're going to do a little game with Zach here, if that's okay with you. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show Zach three charts. And I'm going to ask Zach what his view is. Which of these three charts does he prefer from a structural, again, chart perspective, just purely technical? And I'll show what I mean. Let me just go ahead and share the screen now. Now, obviously, I've deliberately removed the prices from the chart and the symbols because last time I did one of these games, people said, well, it's obvious Zach will know what we're dealing with because he can see the prices and obviously, even though I removed the symbols. I just want to ask your opinion from purely chart technical perspective based on this is a weekly chart, by the way, Zach, as you can see for yourself, weekly charts, three different cryptos. Let me just point out Bitcoin is not one of them. So Bitcoin is not one of these three. However, I'm not going to tell you which of these three is which. There are three major crypto charts, but I just want to ask you, which of these to you stand out, just strike you as the strongest, and which of these is the weakest link in your view? What's the weakest link? What's the strongest link? By the way, Zach, for people who don't know, the moving averages that are on my chart, the blue is the 21 weekly moving average. So blue is 21 moving average. The green is the 200, obviously, and the orange is the 100, and so on and so on. So, Zach, first of all, weakest link. Let's go with the bad news. The weakest link. What do you think?
The weakest link, I think, by some margin is chart B.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, going below those near-term moving averages looks as though it's ready to break down. It'll be very difficult to get out of that after the sort of the spike that you had back in the summer, which basically triple tested
Uh-huh.
resistance from the early part of the previous year. So it's difficult to get out of that one. We
Interesting.
haven't broken down yet, so there's an element of hope. There's probably a trend line there from
Yeah.
back in 2022. So we haven't broken down that yet, but B is not nice. The problem here though is that actually A could turn into B, even though at the moment A could be where B was back in the summer. So
All right.
that's the issue there. So A could be having its summer 2023 peak now, and then we have a dip to the
Hmm.
towards those averages, and then a lower high, and all that sort of stuff like that. But
Okay.
obviously, at the moment, A is fine. You know, there's nothing's gone wrong yet. I'm just, you know, it hasn't broken
Yeah.
back to the old resistance from last year, so that's fine. But
Is that
A,
strong? So what about the strongest link, Zach? What do you think?
so I just love C. I think that's
C.
fantastic,
Hmm.
especially after that bear trap right at the turn of last year, where you had a temporary new low and everything else, and that U-shaped pattern is just if you're a
Hmm.
chartist, it's the it's the best thing you can see. In terms of the the best of the bunch, I really like C. Very nice indeed. And current situation, you've got the move higher, sort of impulsive move higher.
Mm.
New lows coming in at or above old highs on the way up. And so, it looks very good indeed. It looks as though it would at least retest the left-hand peaks, from 2021 on
Yeah.
that situation. So, and
Yeah.
obviously we had a golden cross with those with all the
Yes.
near-term averages, golden crosses there all around, and even in the near term, holding above the tightest moving average, which I suppose can't guess what it is, but looks like a 7-week moving average or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eight. ATMA.
eh,
Yeah.
well,
The red one is eight. Yeah.
yeah, well, there we are. What a guess.
I agree with you, Zach. B is the weakest link. Out of these three, I mean, do you have any instincts? Just what is your view? Do you have any hunches as to which of these might be which?
That's a good question. No, well, I mean, I'm guessing that A is Ethereum, but I might be
Mm.
totally
No,
totally wrong on that.
you're right. A is Ethereum.
I don't think I've ever seen. I wish I'd seen C before because I really like it. So I don't know how.
Yeah. Okay, there we go.
Ah, Ripple, yeah.
Yes. So A, you're correct, Zach. A was Ethereum, ETH. B was XRP, Ripple. C was Solana. Did that surprise you anyway?
It all surprises me now because I only look at the daily. I don't look at the weekly. So even though
Yes.
I look at Solana every week and Ethereum every week, but I've stopped looking at Ripple for quite a while. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
since it came back into the fray, so Solana, very happy to see that's the one because I really like that anyway on
Yeah.
the daily chart, and Ethereum is sort of echoing the Bitcoin pattern. So that's why I sort of guessed it was
Does it
Ethereum.
change your mind in any way now? So now that you know which one is which, Ethereum, XRP, does it have a different impact on your point of view? What about Ethereum? Because you sounded like some people probably thinking you might be quite bearish on Ethereum. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. It's fine, but I've just seen charts like that
Mm,
before. We think, right, that's it. We've done
mm.
all the basing we need to do. The key is holding above that April 2023
Uh-huh.
resistance. So that, yeah, but above that it's fine. But it's just I've seen, it's just like literally the Ripple chart.
Uh-huh.
You could say, that peak, the high that it had last summer could be where, when they put "you are here" or whatever it is, on a map. The that summer Ripple peak could be the peak that we're having now
Mm.
at Ethereum. So that's all. But it's
Yeah.
just we need to stay above whatever those April highs were for Ethereum,
Yeah.
really.
And here's a question I got for you. And I don't have any prices on XRP here, but let's just put it this way. If XRP was to break down below this low that it made in the summer and October of last year, would that be a very bearish sign for you? If it broke down, hasn't broken down that yet. You did mention a trend line though, which you're
Yeah,
right,
there's
which
probably a trend line somewhere. Yeah, somewhere in.
yes. Sorry, I didn't draw
I
that very
sort of
well.
I think that it's actually now that I sort of know what it is,
Yeah,
which is cheating a bit. It sort of gives me the view that Ripple would follow Ethereum rather than Ethereum following Ripple. So that would be
yes.
that's sort of the way around it. These things tend to work.
True,
So
true.
you're not going to have Ethereum and Bitcoin and Solana heading for the stars and Ripple heading for the bin unless
Yes,
the
yes.
authorities were on the case. So that's that.
Would you agree that I mean, Ripple would have to take out this level here, I would say the autumn highs of last year. You would have to take out this resistance level here at the October, November highs, minimum for you or for me to get bullish. Would that be correct, Zach?
Well,
I mean,
you could have a diagonal which would be lower than that, so I'd probably go for
yeah.
that as well. So a diagonal from the summer peak, so that would be a bit lower. And as I've said in my
Mm,
defense, I think there's an uptrend line there, so we could literally be bouncing off that wherever that line is. It's difficult to draw it like that, yeah, but wherever that line is, we could be
mm.
bouncing off that at the moment. So.
Okay,
I wouldn't, but as I said, I think the other markets are going to drag Ripple higher. Ripple's the baby, and the other ones would, you're not going to have Bitcoin at 68,000 and Ripple, breaking
sure.
down. It's very unlikely. I mean, it's possible, but it's very unlikely. So,
Do you
so
think do you think Solana might retest the highs of 2021?
yeah, no, I mean, I'm expecting that to happen. It's behaving very well at the moment.
Let's go and look at Ethereum now. I know you've already mentioned Ethereum slightly earlier, but just generally on this weekly chart, do you think what are the odds for you of Ethereum testing all-time highs?
I think no, I think it's you got to remember how painful that move down was from
Mm,
44.50 to that low the year before last or whatever it was, and
Mm.
that takes a lot of time for people to gain the confidence back. And so I would imagine that probably people, trading Bitcoin rather than Ethereum, or looking at other markets rather than this one. I wouldn't have a problem so much with that, but I think the good way of analyzing it is that this is actually that sort of bitty chart action you've got is actually suggests that if we're going to go up, it's actually very early days yet, and the market's still quite tentative. So, the dips at the moment hopefully are dips to buy into towards 2050, et cetera, et cetera. And so I would take a positive look on that. And well, for me, it's all about holding the 2050 area, really.
2050 year. So you're
Yeah, so
looking,
that
okay, so,
P, yeah, that it's all about that, really.
okay,
And
interesting
that's
point there.
also
So,
the uptrend. That's also the uptrend line area.
yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so, so,
So,
so for me, it's all about that. And you've got a golden cross there coming in now as we speak, and I think that's all good. But the bitty price action may just be because the market is still getting over what was a really bad fall
mm,
for what was that 21, 22.
yeah. So as long as Ethereum holds 2050 approximately here, these
Yeah,
levels,
yeah.
you're remaining a bull in your view. So in your view, you're bullish. But if that's the case, what could be your next potential targets on Ethereum in the next
Well, then
several
it's up
months?
to that 61.8%. Yeah, it's the
Uh-huh.
3350 area. So that's, I
Okay.
think that's quite, and this market, when it moves, it can really move, right? So,
Yeah.
and, before it moves, it doesn't actually look as, it's a bit of a weird one. Before it moves, you'd never realize it was going to, start moving. But
Thanks very much indeed, Zach. That's really interesting and appreciate it. Guys, make sure you go ahead and check Zach's Twitter feed, Twitter handle, at Zach's Traders Cafe. I follow him as well. Publishes great material there. And also watch Zach's weekly video, the members video, where he covers the charts of Bitcoin, crypto charts, and also Tesla as well. Thank you very much indeed, Zach. Really appreciate it.
thank you.